joined by UConn coach Bob Diaco. The Huskies are 1-3 overall, 0-1 in the American Athletic Conference. UConn was in action this past Friday against USF. USF won the game 17-14. Up next for UConn will be this Saturday at Temple, 4 p.m. Eastern Time start. The game will be televised on ESPN News. Coach, thank you for joining us on the call today. If you would take a minute to tie up the road trip to Tampa in the game against USF, and then tell us what you expect to see as you return to the road to face Temple on Saturday, please.
Just, opportunity to go on the road for the first time as a program, deal with those adversities and challenges, which was great. I thought in many ways we operated really well in a lot of areas. Again, continue to play a very young, immature, and inexperienced football team, which is by design. And I thought that they battled for 4 quarters and never stopped believing through adversity, not only during the game as it relates to the plays, but also climate, and never quit, never gave up, and continued to fight. So had a chance to win it at the end, and couldn't make enough plays down the stretch to capitalize. So good learning lessons as we move forward to this week. Play a really excellent Temple team, and we're looking forward to it. And another game at home, which is great. And the team needs to improve and get better this week in practice, and then have another opportunity to be in and on display on Saturday afternoon.
Take questions for Coach Diaco. Please star 1 on your telephone to join the queue. The operator will introduce you.
And we'll take our next question from Dan Tortora with Dan Tortora Broadcast Media.
Hey, Coach. How you doing today?
Good.
Just wanted to start with Jeremy Davis. And despite the loss this past week, at least a catch in the last 30 games that he's played in. What can you say about his leadership and what he's meant not only to the offense but to the team as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, he leads by example, which is, always the way that you want it done. So he walks the walk and talks the talk. He's one of the, if not the hardest worker on the team. And he's got incredible skill and talent, and production to go along with it. So to have that go along with also on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday being one of the hardest workers and guys that spend the most time preparing, it's really wonderful. So he's a great example of how to be and how to do your business.
And then on the defensive side, what have you been seeing as far as leadership of, in your first season, some of the guys stepping up? I know that there's been obviously losses that have come, but your first road contest held the team under 20 in South Florida. What have you been seeing defensively that you like so far, even though the team's trying to find their way?
Yeah, no, they're getting better. They're from a leadership standpoint, I think it's really good. You got, you have Marquise Van as a leader, and he's doing a nice job. And Byron Jones leads by example, and he's doing a nice job. Andrew Adams is emerging as a leader. We have young guys in the front that all have the ability to lead. I'm not sure they're going to cut it loose yet. Some of them are freshmen, but the future's very bright. I believe that they're gaining a more comprehensive knowledge of the defense and how it's intended to be played, which has given them an opportunity to spend a little bit more time studying the small nuances of offensive personnel and offensive tendencies and offensive attack. So that all is improving. So it seems like each week the defense is getting better and better.
Thanks, Coach.
And do we have other questions for Coach Diaco, please? Star 1 on your telephone, if so.
And we'll take our next question from Shannon Owens-Green from the Orlando Sentinel. And Shannon, please check your mute function. Your line is open.
Sorry about that. I was on mute. Hi, Coach. How are you doing this morning?
Good, and you?
Doing well. I'm curious to know, how does playing in a game like that where it's wet and the weather conditions obviously seem to have some sort of an impact, how do the weather conditions impact what you guys want to do in a game like that?
Well, I think it becomes hard to throw, and you get a bit one-dimensional, which, was the case for both teams. That wasn't the main reason why we went to that style of play. It impacts the kicking game greatly with snaps and holds and catches and catching kicks and punts all become a bit of a problem. So the footing was good. That was positive. The field held up nicely, but the wet ball becomes an issue, and overall just distraction. But both teams were playing in it, so the playing field is leveled that way, and it was a great experience for the guys to do.
And obviously, football is a game where you're outside and you're playing in the elements. Is it good to get an experience like that early in the season so the guys get a little bit more, weather tested?
I mean, when you're playing those games, whether they come early or come late, they all count. So, it's just another step for our program to take, a necessary step, and it's going to be a process, and that is a step along the way to go on the road in inclement weather and work to perform and produce. So, good learning lesson for a bunch of young guys, and it seems like with each moment we're getting better and better.
Thank you.
We'll take our next question from Tim Gaffney with LitchfieldCountySports.com.
Morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good, and you?
All right. Talk to me about the Temple challenges. What are they bringing?
They're really explosive on offense. They present some challenges again with eye key progression. They've got guys spread out all over the place and move the ball very quickly and attack the inside, the alley, and the perimeter on almost every down. And they got some good physical guys. The defensive front is a physical front, and they play good rugged football. They're fundamentally sound. You can see that in how they play. So this is a well-coached bunch of guys that look like a good group of tough, hard-nosed guys that like to play football, and they're believing right now. So it's going to be a great, great challenge.
Considering the conditions down there and offensively how difficult the game was, you've probably been stressing a lot this weekend or as you got back to work today. You're an onside kick recovery away from having a chance to win the game.
Yeah, you never want to do that. That's not a great feeling to end the game like that. No.
Right, but knowing how you kind of handle the guys and the rest of it. I mean, have you been in that kind of game before over your career where you really kind of decided to, okay, we're just going to do, like you said, the ping pong match, kind of go back and forth with the punch and hang around where you have a chance to win, towards the game? Have you had experiences like that before?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I've been at this since I was 8 years old. So as a player and a coach, you get in a game like that, and you got to make the alterations to give the group a chance to win, and based on inexperience and based on weather and based on a few different factors, I didn't feel like a balanced call pattern or even a call pattern that might have been 60-40 run pass was going to be productive for us, especially after I had a chance to watch the production on the first 4 passes. So watching the defense, watching the special teams, you feel like, okay, let's not do anything right now to lose the game. Let's just see if we can play well, play fundamentally sound, and see if the other side will do something to lose the game. So I've definitely been in games like that, and you got a chance at the end. And then at the end, you got to make plays. And we had opportunities. We had a few opportunities in there in the last, let's say last 8 minutes to play that would have changed the game forever. A third down and 16 gets converted in a ridiculous situation, or it's 14-14. We at 5:30 to play, we go to our pass. We go to our move it, critical situation, EOG, end of game situation, and we have a drop, a drop and a sack. So it wasn't just that final drive that we went to pass. It was the drive before that. So we make that catch for plus 25. The game's a different story. So, I was pleased with how the team fought and persevered and gave us a chance at the end.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach, we thank you for your time today. Of course, I misspoke in the introduction, mentioned that the game against Temple was on the road. Is that, in fact, a home game in East Hartford? So my apologies for that. Look forward to talking to you again on next Monday.
Okay, thank you.